What if the fastest way to reset your life isn't some big vacation, or a plane ticket, or a perfectly planned getaway? What if it's much, much simpler? What if it's hiding in plain sight? Maybe it's right in your backyard or a 30-minute drive away. So today I want to talk about the power of stepping away, even briefly, to catch your breath, to change your energy, and remember that your life is not all about the to-do list and the obligations. And I'm also going to tell you about something I did that was very unlike me. I made a hotel reservation for the beach like the night before. Spontaneous is, well, it is not my word. Let's just say that. But sometimes when life feels heavy, spontaneity is exactly what the doctor ordered. Hi there. Welcome back to You Can Emerge Positive. I'm Deanne, and I work with women who are in the middle of their life, realize it's not too late, and show them the pathway there with confidence, clarity, and intention. Now, today's episode is going to be about something simple but powerful, the staycation reset. And as we're heading into the 4th of July weekend, I can't think of a better time to talk about this because now you have some breathing room where you can really think about yourself. Not someday, not when life like slows down or the calendar magically clears, which we all know that never happens. But I want you to think about taking it right now. Because sometimes we need a big vacation to feel refreshed. But often what we really need is a change of scenery, a slower pace, and a permission to just step away from our demands of everyday life, even if it's just for 24 hours. Okay, so I have to confess something. I did something recently that was very unlike me. Friday night after dinner, in a moment of both desperation and delight, I made a hotel reservation for the beach for the very next day. Now, I know that doesn't sound very life altering to some of you, but for me, it was. I mean, I'm kind of a planner. Well, okay, I am a planner. I'm not kind of a planner. I am a planner. I like to think things through. I like to know the details, to have all the runway and understand where I'm going and how it's going to all work out beforehand. To me, it's part of the vacation. But in that moment, I just didn't overthink it at all. I didn't talk myself out of it. I didn't say, well, we should probably wait. I just booked it. And because sometimes life comes down hard. And sometimes your nervous system doesn't need another plan, even though sometimes I like that. It needs a pause. It needs beauty. It needs water. It needs a different view. And for me, peace arrives the moment I see the ocean. Ah, no sand required for me. I just breathe differently when I'm near water. Deeper and fuller and almost instantly. I think we all have a place like that, a place that softens us, a place that helps us remember who we are underneath all the noise. For me, it's definitely the ocean. For someone else, it may be the mountains. For you, it could be the lake, a trail, maybe it's just a garden, a golf course, a quiet hotel room, luxury, of course, or even your own backyard with the phone turned off. The place itself actually doesn't matter as much as what it does for you, for your soul. So my stepson loves the mountains. And he recently finished 100-mile hike, which is crazy. 100-mile hike with a group of students on the Pacific Crest Trail in Southern California. And my husband and I visited him and the group on one of the stops during this hike, and we brought them pizza for dinner. And I have to tell you, they were all completely in their element. They were dirty, they were tired, they were happy and laughing and enjoying the pizza. They were enjoying the simplicity of life on the trail. And there was something really beautiful about that. The campground was beautiful. The camaraderie was just watching them. It was so beautiful. And the simplicity of it all was beautiful. And I could appreciate all that. But I could also appreciate the fact that I was getting in a car, driving home, sleeping in my own bed, and getting a hot shower. Because camping, yeah, it's not really my thing. And that's okay. And I think actually it's really important that we know that because your reset doesn't have to look like somebody else's. You don't have to love hiking because someone else loves hiking. You don't have to love to camp because someone else feels free in the wilderness. You don't have to sit on a beach if you hate the beach. You don't have to book a luxury hotel if you hate hotels. If maybe that's not your thing. So the question is not what should restore me? It should be what actually restores me. That's a very different question. And for a lot of us, well, we've been so busy responding to everybody else and all their needs, we haven't stopped to ask ourselves that question in a very long time. What place brings me peace? What environment helps me exhale? What activity helps me feel like myself again? And what kind of rest do I actually need? Because not all rest is the same. Sometimes you need solitude, sometimes you need fun, sometimes you need beauty or laughter, sometimes you just need quiet. Or sometimes you need more movement, getting on the bike and taking that bike ride that you never have time for. Sometimes you just need to do absolutely nothing. But you have to know yourself well enough to know what kind of reset you actually need. So my husband and I spent 24 hours at this resort, about 30 minutes north of our home. And honestly, we didn't do that much. We ate good food. We took a long walk on the boardwalk and pier. We had a special dinner one night. Or the one night that we were there, and we slept in the morning. That was it. Nothing dramatic, nothing complicated, nothing requiring a full itinerary, but we felt a world away. And that is the magic of the staycation. You can be close to home and still feel like you stepped into a different version of your life. You can see your own town, your own city, the own area, but through a different lens because you're not looking at it through the eyes of errands and traffic and appointments and routine. You're looking at it through eyes of someone who is allowed to enjoy who she is. And that shift matters because sometimes we don't need to escape our life. We just need to experience it differently. We need to interrupt the pattern. We need to stop moving through the same motions and remember there's more to our life than stress and responsibility. And yes, I know everything feels really expensive right now. The hotels, the restaurants are expensive, gas is certainly expensive, life itself is expensive. So I'm not saying that you have to spend a lot of money to reset. A staycation can be one night in a hotel, or it could be a day trip, or an afternoon at the beach, or a picnic in a park. It can be a long drive listening to your favorite music. It could be a morning hike. Maybe you go by yourself and have a coffee in a beautiful hotel lobby. That's such a great thing to do. Or you could go sit by the water for an hour. Just sit there, take a journal, take a book, or it could be inviting friends over and roasting marshmallows in your backyard. The point is not about the cost. The point is that it's an intentional pause. So here's the part I really want you to hear. If you're feeling overwhelmed, stressed, depleted, or just like life is one long list of responsibilities, it may be time to choose something different. And I know that sounds simple, maybe too simple, but often we forget that we are allowed to choose. We get into our routines and our obligations and we get into our stress cycles. And then we start believing like this is just how life is. But you are not powerless. You are not just a passenger here. You are the CEO and creator of your life. And that does not mean that you control everything. We know that sometimes life brings us challenges, but you do get to choose how you support yourself through them. You choose whether you keep pushing until you crash or whether you pause before you break. You get to choose whether you wait for someone else to create joy for you or whether you decide to create it for yourself. You get to choose whether every weekend becomes chores and errands or whether you protect a little space for fun, beauty, connection, and breathing room. This is where mindset becomes practical because choosing joy is not just a cute phrase. It is a decision, it is a pattern interrupt, and it is a way of saying, I matter too. My peace matters. My joy matters. And my life is happening right now. And that's such a big part about what we talk about in Beyond by Emerge Positive. Designing your next decade is not just these big goals. It's about how you want to feel in your everyday life. It's about asking, am I creating a life I actually want to live in? Am I building in joy? Am I giving myself space to breathe? Am I waiting for someday that keeps moving farther away? Because your next decade should not be built just around obligation. It should include delight, adventure, rest, and connection, and moments that remind you that life is meant to be enjoyed. So, here is your reset question for this week. Ask yourself, where could I step away even briefly to feel like myself again? Think about that. Where could I step away even briefly to feel like myself again? And then ask yourself, what kind of reset do I really need right now? Is it one of quiet or nature? Do I want to be around water or laughter? Or do I want some alone time? Or do I need connection? One night away or one afternoon just without my phone? As we're heading into the 4th of July weekend, I want you just to think about this. Consider it. What would actually make you feel better and more like you? What could you create? A day trip, a beach morning, dinner somewhere beautiful, a solo reset day? It doesn't have to be fancy, it doesn't have to be expensive, and it certainly does not need to be perfect. It just has to be intentional. So, if this connects with you, I designed this free download called The Reset, and it is a curated 10-minute morning routine for you to start getting clarity as soon as tomorrow. It is free. Just go to emergepositive.com and download it. Also, it's here in the show notes. There's a link that goes directly to it, and it will help you curate a 10-minute routine that will help bring you that calm and clarity that you're looking for. Promise you, it works. So here's what I'd like to leave you with today. Life is short. And I don't mean that in a dramatic way. I just mean it in a truthful way. We have this one beautiful lifetime to explore, to learn, to help others, to love people, to enjoy the long days, to notice the flowers and smell the grass, to look at the stars, sit by the water, roast the marshmallows, take the trip, book the room, and make the memory. Don't waste every open space trying to catch up in your life. Sometimes the most productive thing you can do is step away. Sometimes the most responsible thing you can do is rest. And sometimes the fastest way to reset is not to change everything. It's just to pause long enough to remember that you have choices. So this week, ask yourself, what can I create for my own staycation reset? Who would I love to share it with? Or do I need the gift of solitude? And then don't overthink it. Just make the reservation, call your friend, talk to your spouse, plan the picnic, take the drive, sit by the water, choose joy. Because you're not here just to survive your life. You're here to live it. You're here to be in it. Thank you so much for joining me today. And remember, you can emerge positive. I'll see you next Wednesday.